Hey guys, hope everything's still going well back in Turkey. Just like the link states below, this is going to be my persuasive speech. I'm going to be talking about why we need to change the process of how we do renewal driver's license for drivers 65 or older. In my PowerPoint on that I've attached to this, there's a quote by Tucker Carlson, and if you don't know him, he's a commentator for Fox News. And the quote reads, "Yes, older drivers are more likely to injure themselves and others when they get behind the wheel. But if we take that away, that is really the last lifeline a lot of elder people have." And with that quote, I want you to keep that in mind as we go through some of the things that I say in this speech. In it, we're going to be talking about some requirements, exactly what is required for members 65 or older to actually get a driver's license, some facts actually about older drivers, some of the crash rates, things like that, their cognitive processes, exactly, how they slow down with age and things like that, some diseases that you're more prone to with age, and some recommended changes that come that to maybe implement in between, with these changes. So with the requirements, 43 states actually only require every 4 years be renewed. Okay, on top of that, there's actually 12 states included within those 43 states that actually have 8 years. So in a 48-year span, there's a good bit of change that can happen in those time frames. And with this, only a vision test is required, so it has to make sure you can still see and things like that. But those are the only requirements to actually renew your driver's license, no matter what your age, things like that. Some facts actually that go behind this. So older drivers have a greater crash and fatality rate. Okay, so when you take in frailty, this isn't a big surprise, but something they're actually elder people are more involved in are when you're turning across opposing traffic at intersections, merging from a yield lane or changing lane on a highway. And this is due to not really being able to turn, kind of hard to, or the cognitive processes, but this is something that we'll actually get we'll get more in depth with as the speech goes on. Actually, 4,792 people aged 70 or older died in a vehicle accident in 2016. This is actually an 8% increase from 2015, and there was actually a study done. And by 2050, the population of older drivers are projected to double, and this is due to a lot of different things, but mainly because medicine is getting better. People living longer, things like that. So it's more of a reason why we need to implement these changes or something, so we can keep the road safer. Now going actually into the cognitive processes, speed of processing and responding, it actually slows down. It can be anywhere from 1.7 to 2 times longer for younger groups. For them to now, these cognitive processes, they're actually seeing if it's safe to cross, if we have the distances to actually do merge or something like that. That takes longer as you get older. Eyesight decreases. That's a lot of us know that. Inclement weather, and then driving at night become more difficult as we get older. A big one, attention being able to split between central location and periphery. So what what's that saying is, so using an example, coming up to a red light, you have a car in front of you, you have to tell the distance in between you and the car, you got to make sure you're good to go. But say there's a car merging to your left over, that's splitting it in between a central location and the periphery. Okay, and that's harder as you get older. And then some diseases that can make these a little harder as well. So by the age of 65, 90% have one or more chronic conditions. Okay, with these diseases or chronic conditions come medication. These medications have side effects. They can add things to it as well. some diseases plus cognitive impairment, so that cognitive process that we were talking about previously, you're actually 3 times more likely to be involved in a fatal crash with these. So with the medication and the cognitive process slowing down. One of the most common diseases is arthritis. So as you get older, joints, things like that, they tend to make it a little painful. So something as small as turning your head to check to make sure your blind spot's good, flipping a turn signal on, turning the wheel even, can be hard to do, and it just makes it more difficult to do something as simple as driving. So now with all that data and things like that, and these are some of the changes that can be put in and recommended to make things a little safer. The renewal time for individuals 65 or older, maybe knock it down to 2 years or something like that, and you get more face-to-face time. You can actually see the changes more often, things like that. You can also limit individuals to daytime driving only. All right, this knocks out eyesight. Don't drive in inclement weather and at night. So just eliminate them at all. Require some sort of driving test simulator that's hands-on first-hand experience, to where you can see exactly how they drive to make sure they're good to go. And then lastly, you can require a test for doctors clearing members to drive, kind of like a physical. Again, these are just recommendations to make things a little safer, because I know a lot of people might be against these, but it's something that we should have to look at. And then, in conclusion, we've talked about some requirements, some things that are actually required for members to get the driver's license in the States, little facts about older drivers, the cognitive processes, how they slow down with age, some diseases you're more prone to as you get older, and some recommended changes. Okay, like I said, this is my persuasive speech. Any feedback would be great. All right, thanks again for watching. Have a good day.